welcome to this edition of EMS Now Up Close. I am Eric Miskell with EMS Now, and today it's my pleasure to speak with Ralph Rhein. Ralph is the technical director at IDENTCO. It's my first time getting to interview Ralph, so I'm looking forward to this, especially because you're the technical director and we get to talk about some of the more technical aspects of the product. But since it's the first time interviewing you, I want to give you an opportunity for you to introduce yourself and your role at IDENTCO, please.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having me on your show. My name is Ralph Rhein. I'm the technical director, born and raised in Germany, came about 25 years ago to America through my wife, who is American, and been in the printing industry for over 30 years, pretty much covered all the printing industry, from the screen printing aspect when it started to digital printing to the litho printing later on. A lot of graphic digital printing in my previous life in a sign industry, and then I came over about 2 years ago to IDENTCO as their technical director to be responsible for all the product we're using, how we're using it, compliance, performance, and other aspects of our labels. I'm responsible for it.
So then within that, you run the R&D lab then for IDENTCO and kind of all the development and all of that.
That's correct. So it is new products who get presented to us through our suppliers, or a need a customer has, where they either talk to our customer service sales representative coming to us and saying, hey, I have this product, but it doesn't work as well. Do you have alternative? And by having a lab, what is very rare in our industry and in the printing industry, our size, that you have a full-blown lab. We can do side-by-side testing with the product. We can simulate UL testing. So if we do go to UL, we know that the product will perform, because going to UL always has a cost factor, and we don't want to increase that by doing the test twice.
That makes sense. That makes sense. So let's talk about the lab then. I mean, like you just said, it's unusual for a company such as yours to have such an in-house reliability lab. What are the benefits of having that?
First of all, we can identify before it even goes to the customer the product qualification. We have testing ovens, we have crock meters, we have tape abrasion testing, we have xenon arc testing. We can do pretty much all chemical testing as long we don't need a vaporator or masks for the fumes. That we do third party, because we don't want to expose our employees to any harmful chemicals. But if it's just standard gasoline, washing powders, 409, you name it, we can do all the testing in our house, from the time period, how long it has to be tested, rub testing, scratch testing. A lot of our clients come with a list of test parameters, what we need to do, and then we follow them and do a side-by-side, either with a new or existing or with a current product they have.
Interesting. So speak about that, kind of the markets that the lab can support. You've referenced a few, but which markets are you able to support from the lab?
We focus on 4 different markets. One is the industrial market, the electronic power market, PCB board, and power equipment, and transportation. So in transportation, quite often we're looking for the not exterior product, more interior products under the hood, in the cabins and everything, because there's a lot of electronic parts. They have to be decorated through a label system for traceability, and that's where we're strong in.
Yeah. And so from the electronics component, I think about the printed circuit boards, right, where a lot of the labels end up in electronics manufacturing. And we were talking before, that's kind of a challenging environment, especially with miniaturization, and there's always competition for real estate on the board, right? As everything's getting smaller, components it's getting tighter. How do you address all those?
Yeah, you're absolutely correct there. Real estate getting tight, and the engineers for the boards forget that they have to have a traceability, and put too many components on a board quite often. So in one case of our customer, we ended up with a label what is only 2.5 millimeter by 2.5 millimeter, but on top of it, they want to have a barcode on it, so for traceability. And that's where we shine. A, we could get a product. B, we have the capability in our equipment to precision printing and die cutting. So when a customer gets a pre-die cut roll of labels, they have absolutely no problem printing it on their thermal transfer print machine and then populate practically their boards with automatic feeder and robots and so on.
My God. Plus, then those labels sometimes are in very harsh environments, right? So you need to factor and plan for that, right?
Yeah. Yes, our labels sustain up to 270 degrees Celsius, what is close to 500 degrees Fahrenheit, because labels, when they get applied and the boards get populated, there's solder, there's oils, there's products who necessary to apply the product, but not necessary to make the product or the plate perform. So they have to go through washing units, they go to heating unit, the solder itself is up to so many 100 degrees. And if our label would get in contact with it, it has to survive that temperature. So for us means we have to work with 2 or 3 large companies for chemical washing. One would be Sestron, one would be Kaizen. They have numerous between 5 to 10 and more chemicals where every customer is has a specific chemical in their machine. And we have to make sure that our label performs to their chemicals, to their heat, to their pressure spraying. And we can simulate a lot of that in our lab to make sure before we then send it to Sestron Kaizen for approval, or in our case, we have already pretty much every single component we have in the inventory is tested, verified, and we have recommendation what thermal transfer ribbon to use that your product performs, and you're not there for a surprise.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. So what about the technical support that you provide too for customers? You know, designing it is one thing, then there's the technical support aspect.
The technical support for ours is a customer can come to our facility and can test with us in the facility if they don't have the capability, or they want to pre-test something before they go to their engineers. Particularly, there's the engineering and then there's the quality department. So the engineer wants to test something and then has to go to the quality department, but they want to make sure it works. They can work with us to get product pre-approved in this case. Working with us on our equipment. I can come, my team, myself, we can come to the customer itself, see what their facility looks like, be more or less hands-on at their site to understand what their challenges are. And with the knowledge we have, and because we are a lab, we are able to help the customer right then and there. What is surprisingly, not surprising, it's more like highly appreciated from the customer to find a solution.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. And it strikes me, I mean, that it's not just a simple label that you put on your forget. There's constant innovation going on here too, right? That you're working with customers, as you're saying, and with that. So talk about how the lab kind of helps focus on innovation.
Because we particularly talk about the electronic industry, where the materials are most likely polyimide materials or Kapton, as some people call it, one or the other. We have about 35 plus different liners and everything, probably 60 different versions of this material. Based on the customer, you know, they have a small little PCB board and they don't want to put a very expensive label on. Maybe we can help them by reducing the coat weight of the adhesive. Maybe the material needs, instead of a 2 mil, needs only a 1 mil product, because certain things in their step or in their process doesn't need that thick of a material. Then we have different top coatings that they maybe can stay with 1 ribbon through the entire process versus having 5 or 6 ribbons. So that's another aspect where the customer can make mistakes, and nothing worse than running so many boards through their washing machine, and on the end, either the label is gone or the thermal transfer is washed off, and that's where we can help, that they are feeling comfortable that the product will perform all the time.
Yeah. So, by the way, I should have asked, where is your lab? Do you have, I know you're a global company. Is it just one or do you
Yeah.
have several?
No, we have one lab, what is in Ingleside, Illinois,
Okay.
on the west of Chicago. And from there, we're supporting then our plant in Mexico and our company in Piola, Kansas City, where we as well have a production plant. And the beauty of our plants are we all cookie cutter plants. So if one plant would burn down today, the next plant can take fully over of the product and have no problem at all to perform immediately as customers' needs.
Yeah. And I think you mentioned this, but just to be clear, are the labs open? Is the lab open for customers to come and visit and work there, or is that kind of a restricted environment because of some of the chemicals and what you have working?
No, the lab is open. If we do if we do work what the customer shouldn't see, of course we put the stuff away. But so it's not like a customer comes to us and can see what the other customer is working on, or maybe a competitor can work on. I mean, that is taken care of like every professional lab would handle.
Right.
But yeah, customers can come with certain materials they have, with inks they have, with ribbons they have. Come to our facility, show us what they have. We can work with them, do certain tests they may or may not be able to perform, but our door is wide open for any customer to work with us and work with my team to get their problem solved. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I'm just wondering, you know, with the again, within the electronics piece being the printed circuit board being, I believe, the primary piece where labels would be placed then, and with different surface chemistries that exist, you know, within the PCB fabbing thing, you must have to kind of stay very close to what any changes in substrates or anything that's happening there too, right?
You're absolutely correct. We make sure that we have most of the most used PCB board surfaces in our facility. As I said, we're working very close with the chemical companies together who provides the chemicals to our customer to clean their boards. And all our products on a regular base every half a year, even if we did test it a half a year ago, we send it out again just in case something got changed to the chemical or any components got changed to verify that the product is still working. So every half a year to 12 months, I would say pretty much annual, we sending. Just recently, we sent about 8,000 different labels out to our supplier or to the chemical company to be tested, and then we do spreadsheets and, of course, can show the customer what the results are.
Oh, that's fascinating. So we talked about the miniaturization and the challenges. Other than, you know, those from the real estate side and the harsh environments, what are the other challenges that that you're having to contend with for customers?
The accuracy of the size of the label, what is part of my technical side as well, working with manufacturing. Our labels come, of course, in big rolls, and then they get die cut or die cut up to 2x2 millimeter. Well, a customer who has a printer 2x2 millimeter running it through a thermal transfer machine, if the label is not perfectly inlined, every single label, if the label or the liner will move on you left and right, you will not print on that label. You will print off the label because your machine is, or the material is bouncing around. So we developed quite a strong technology in our facility, how we can control this accuracy. And we pride ourselves that we can give you labels. And in some cases, some of our customers have a label requirement of less than 1,000 mil to say, that's all 0.0001 to say, hey, that's all you get for movement. And we have technology developed to hold that for our customer. That's why I believe we niche ourselves for difficult and challenging business.
Yeah, no, it sounds like that very much. So let me ask, I mean, if people who are watching this and wish to kind of engage and learn more and to meet and speak to you, I'm sure we were talking before this started that you'll be at Productronica, but you're undoubtedly going to be at others as well. Where can people come and speak to IDENTCO?
We are on most big trade shows, PCP West and East. I am at the SMTA show in Minnesota next week.
Sweet.
So I will be there for the 2 days where the trade show is. Productonica. We're going to
Apex next year?
Apex, thank you. The Apex. So we will be there, and IDENTCO has a website. IDENTCO has a Google search. You can find us. Look for us. Ask for my name, Ralph, Technical Director. I'll be happy to talk to you. I'm happy to direct you to your person who is responsible for that area or for that business section, and we will definitely work with our customer to help them out, solve problems.
Very good, very good. Well, Ralph, I have really appreciated the time with you today. This has been very insightful. I'm sure the audience feels the same way. He's very friendly, so do go see him at a show. He's
I'm a very shy person. You can realize that already.
I could tell, right? So thanks. I'm glad I was able to draw you out a little bit here today.
Yes.
So, but thank you for that. I hope to meet you in person at one of the shows in the future, and hopefully we can get another update on the developments there at IDENTCO.
Fantastic. And thank you for having me on your show. And thank you very much for everything.
Thank you,
Appreciate
sir.
it.
Take care.